into this case. This is the case of the brutal murder of a prominent doctor on January the 25th, 1994 in St. Petersburg, Florida. On this sunny afternoon, dispatched radioed out that a body had been found in an apartment complex. The call was answered by police officer L.J. to sneak